Well, welcome to a new Harry's Garage video, and again we're at Silverstone Auctions because they've got a sale this weekend, and it's the Ferrari and Porsche sale at this extraordinary venue, this Dallas Burston Polo Club venue. It's glorious sunshine as well, and I'm going to kick off with this car because it's, when I saw it in the catalogue, it's just one of those cars I just had to have a go in it, so I could say I have driven a Ferrari 599 manual. 30 cars produced, so really lucky to have one of these in this auction. 10 were delivered to Europe, and this is the last one produced. It's 2008. What I really like about it, it went to a Swiss owner who obviously really enjoyed his car because he's done 19,000 kilometres in it, came to the UK and got UK registered in 2018. And I think it's just a wonderful example. It's the right colour combination, sports exhaust, and there to be enjoyed. If I look at the estimate, 365 to 400,000 pounds. I've seen RM auctions sell these for more. It's about, that's where the market is. It's such a rare car with 30 examples. Think about it, you're, well, 12 times more likely to see a Ferrari Enzo before you spot another manual 599. And at that mileage, this one's to be enjoyed and to be driven. So a lovely example. And I'm half tempted myself because I'm probably never going to see another one come up for sale in the UK. Right, let's move on and have a look at some other stuff. Now here's another car I was desperate to feature. It's one of my favourite Porsche 911s of all, the Carrera Club Sport of 1988. This is just a hidden gem, this car. Rarer than you would imagine. Everybody thinks of the ultimate 911 probably as the 2.7 RS. Well, in my book, I think this is well worth a look. This is a 15 years newer, but still raw and a real driver's car. And this particular example, 59,000 miles from new. So this is one of 53 right-hand drive examples out of 340 produced in total. It was produced in very low numbers. People didn't quite get it when it first came out. Porsche stripped out some equipment from the car. There isn't air conditioning, rear seats are gone. It's sort of before GT3 came and RS and things like that. This was the car. And it was actually cheaper than a standard 911. But now, come to 2019, and it offers one of the best driving experience in a 911. It's super pure, it's much better than the sum of parts you'd ever guess. It's still quick, it's 5.1 to 60, 156 miles an hour. And this one, with this guide, they've become very collectible, these cars. I've seen them well into the hundreds and somethings. I've seen one sold, it was about 150,000 miles. So this is actually low mileage for one of these at 59, and guided pretty sensibly at 120 to 140,000. But it's offered with no reserve. So this could be quite a star of this sale. Now here's one of my favourite modern era Porsches, the 997 GT2. Everybody thinks of GT3 really when you think of the ultimate modern Porsche, but I really like these GT2s. They're super usable, and I'm lucky to have driven quite a few examples, even taking one down to France to Mount Ventoux for a car of the year, Evo Car of the Year. Over 500 horsepower, over 200 miles an hour, two-wheel drive, and just a real driver's car. This will bite if you turn everything off, but that's a good thing. In this era of sort of nannying cars, this is a real driver's car. And I love the colour of this one. You don't normally see them this. I've seen them in Grand Prix white normally. Unusual to have the body coloured wheels as well. But I particularly like this car because it's obviously been looked after, as it's got brand new tyres on it, it's got new carbon brakes on it as well. And I just think these are ones to tuck away. You're never going to be disappointed with the drive of one of these. It's an ultra exciting car. It will test you if you take it on track because they're so flipping quick. And it's guided at, well, 135 to 155,000, but it's relatively low mileage. Well, it's 9,500 miles from new. It's another one I want to take away from this auction. It's one of the troubles of coming to this auction. I always want to buy one, but that's fairly near the top of the list. Right, let's go and have a look at something else. Now I wanted to show you these two. These are the two ends of the Ferrari flat 12 cars. This car is the 512BB. This example is 1977. They actually showed a smaller 4-litre version of this that came out in 75. But this is Countach Fighter, Ferrari's Countach Fighter. It's a real beefy car to drive, having driven one of these. There's no power steering. It's a 5-litre carburetted engine, and this was the flagship Ferrari in its time. What I love, they've also in this sale behind us is a 512M. We'll have a look at that in a moment. I want to concentrate on this one first of all. They wanted to have a connection with their F1 cars. That's why they moved to flat 12, and it was this mid-engine look. Remember, they had the 308 and the V8 cars. This is the 12-cylinder version of it. They open up, they're spectacular because they all open up, but I just think these early cars, they painted the bottom half of the body in black and had the whichever colour you chose on top, and so distinctive. You see these and the Countach part together where it just shouts 70s. This seems a really nice example, rare to be right-hand drive. Very few came to the UK, just over 100 cars in the UK, and then a bit later, about 1980, they moved to injected rather than carburetors. You've got to remember in this era, when they went to injection, it wasn't for more power, it was generally for emissions. And I don't like the injected version nearly as much as the carburettor version, because the injection pump is right by where you drive, and all you hear is this high-pitched wail from the injection pump. So if they're going to have one of these, this is the one I'd go for. This one is guided at, I think it's just around the 200 mark. Let's have a look, 190,000 to 220,000 pounds. It's not bad value. They've come off from where their top values were, as has the 512, but around 200,000, that's a pretty collectible Ferrari, and it's got a great history file that has even its original invoice in there. There's loads of stuff. Right, now I want to show you this car. One of the cars you probably know if you watch Harry's Garage, you'll have the Testarossa. It's a particular favourite of mine. They're a really usable GT car. Chris Harris has the 512 as well, which is the modified version of the Testarossa, and this is the 512M. This is the final edition just before Ferrari launched the front engine 550. Unfortunately, it lost the pop-up lights, etc., and it got strange wheels, but all the right bits were tweaked. It has more power, it has titanium conrods in it and things like that, and it was the final iteration with ABS, more power, 440 horsepower, something like that. They're just really nice drivable cars, these, and they were heading skyward because they're much rarer. There's around 7,000 Testarossas in all, but only 500 of these 512M Modificado. This has just been serviced by Bob Houghton, so it's all new belts, new full service history on it, and it's just ready to go. And then now the value of these are looking quite tempting again. This is 120 to 140,000. That would have probably started with a 2 in about 2016, but now sensible money, and I know how much fun I've had with my Testarossa. You can have just as much fun in this. Another one of my favourite early Porsches is these, the Targas. This is 1977 3-litre SC example in a very nice colour, the pinstripe interior, and what I like about these early cars, they have this stainless steel hoop. They've sort of brought it back with a new generation Targa. And the other thing I love about these is rather than having a fixed Targa that you just think, well, what am I going to do with this? This is one of the early ones that rolls up. Slight problem, they dropped it and went to the fixed panel because it had a few leaks every now and then, but they're just easier to use, and if you're only going to use it for special occasion, it's an absolute treat. But a 23,000 mile genuine mileage, right-hand drive, looked after by Autofarm and Tuthills, so all the right people, cookie cutters, etc. It's the last car in the Porsche section of the sale, but and it's guided at 75 to 95,000, but that just looks a real gem to me. And in the UK, 77 means it's historic, so you're not going to pay any road tax. You can drive around London because it's ultra low emission, 0 rated, because it's a historic car. Just a lovely example of a lovely early Targa 911. Right, let's go and have a look at a few more cars here. Well, I'm absolutely surrounded by front engine V12 Ferraris down here. There's two 575s here. And this is 550. I just wanted to show you this 550. This is left-hand drive example. You can tell easily a 550 from 575. You just look at the front. The 575 had body coloured under the flared-in headlights here. I think it's a slightly strange look, and you really notice it on a red car. Had a slightly different mouth, a bigger mouth on it. 550 I think is just more elegant. It's flatter, the lights flare back, still got the nostril at the front. This is slightly lower as well. It does actually breathe through there. And they're just a really good GT car. If you read Evo, you'll know I had one of these for about 18 months and did 30,000 miles very quickly in it. But the values of them, they've softened a bit, and this is a left-hand drive example, 24,000 miles, good service history on it, and it's guided at 50 to 58,000 pounds. That's about what I paid for mine back in the noughties. I can't remember exactly when, but they look really good value. And if you lift the engine bay on this, it has one of the most spectacular engine bays you'll ever see. You know, it's worth parking with just the bonnet up. So they're really coming good value. The thing about the 575s is it had the early generation of the F1 gearbox. They're fine, but everybody sorts the manuals and they've gone a, you know, big value now. 575 is a more muscular engine, always more expensive, bit newer, but this 550, 50 to 58,000, I'd have to give this a look. Because yeah, it just looks great value if you really want a front engine V12 Ferrari. Here we go, aluminium body, great big struts, and there you are, beautifully presented V12, close angle. If you're worried about belt changes, this is one Ferrari you don't have to worry too much about the belts, because they're at the front of the engine. They're quite cheap to do compared to a mid-engine car like the Testarossa or the 360, something like that. So the front, but it's just the detailing, the way they covered up all the wiring loom there under these covers here, you see on either side, that lovely oil filler on the other side, nerd aluminium finish. Dry sump this V12, it's a 200-mile-an-hour car, this one. So yeah, I think I'll just park it like that, and then you can just see the engine every time you walk in the garage. Beautiful thing. Okay, well, we're spoiled for choice when it comes to 944 and 968s. There's actually two Club Sport 968 Club Sports here and a Sport, but I'm actually going to show you this one, a 944 Turbo Cabriolet. Rare car, 600 are made in the world, but only 100 right-hand drive cars. So you don't often see these at a sale, and this is a very nice condition. It's the right colour, it's got a powered soft top. You can recognise obviously the 944 because it hasn't got the 928 lights pop-up. It's got pop-up lights like this. This is 60,000 miles from new. Good history on it. It's actually had a little engine tweak, just an extra boost, but that's all right. Manual gearbox, and this is guided at 20 to 25,000 pounds for a Porsche Turbo convertible. I think that is well under the radar, this car. It's just one of those that you come to an auction like this and you discover little gems like this. I can't believe you put 20, 25,000 in that, you're not going to get your money back, or a little more in a few years' time. And it's a really nice car. It's a 944 Turbo, which with a pick of the range. 1991 it dates from. Is standard, they are under 6 seconds to 60 miles an hour. So yeah, that's my pick of all the 944 and 968s in this sale. Now, I couldn't finish off without showing you this car. This is the Porsche Carrera GT, and it's one of my favourite cars of all. I'm very lucky to have driven quite a few examples of these, and there was one standout test when I was at Evo, and we had one of these, Enzo, a Zonda, and a McLaren F1. Yes, it was one of those days. And this was my second to the McLaren F1 car. A sorted Carrera GT, when you go and revisit it, they've done new tyres for them, and they're just the most wonderful device. Manual only with this car, and this example, 4,300 miles from new. Originally delivered to Germany, it's got a full service history on it, and it's just ready to be used. I think they look great in black. Some of the great things about a Carrera GT I like is there a removable panel roof as well, so you've got that choice of whether to use it as a coupe like this or as a convertible. I think as time goes on, these are going to get more and more sought after. We go towards an EV future. This is 1380 kilos, manual gearbox, V10, 205 miles an hour, and quality. They're depth of quality on engineering this is off the scale. But you look round the back, it was a sort of, Porsche were looking at Le Mans, this is as the story goes, and then the classification changed. So this is a race engine in effect. Push rod suspension you can see here as well, so the dampers up there. But it's the depth of engineering, the beautiful finish of the carbon fibre bodywork, active aero on it, followed up by the 918. I was actually on the pre-launch of a Porsche 918, and while we weren't being entertained with 918s, they had some Carrera GTs to play with. That was a bad idea from Porsche, because all we want to do is actually play in the Carrera GT. Now this car is guided at 600 to 650,000 pounds. I just think this is safe. I would choose this over an F40, over a Pagani Zonda. The only car I'd have above this is a McLaren F1. So there you go, there's my pick of the sale. The one I want to take home is this one. Right, so as I said at the beginning, this sale is happening on Saturday. This video will go out on Friday, so tomorrow. If you want to register or you want to see what happens at the bid, you've got to look at silverstone.com website. You can register to bid online there, or come down to this venue and just see for yourself this Dallas Burston Polo Club. It's quite a sight, well worth a visit. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, keep watching, keep subscribing. More videos coming along very soon.